Welcome to Down the Barrel Podcast with Jimmy and Dino. Get ready to dive into the wild world of Minnesota hunting, trapping, and wildlife. We'll be chatting with some folks who protect, manage, and promote the great outdoors. But don't worry, we'll also have some laughs as we chat about guns, whiskey, and anything else that catches our eye. So grab a drink, sit back, and get ready for a good time. Down the Barrel Podcast is brought to you by the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association
and Wolf.Report. Wolf.Report, a platform dedicated to elevating the voices of Minnesota hunters, trappers, and outdoor enthusiasts. Join us in advocating for responsible wolf management in Minnesota. Share your reports, photos, and stories, and together we will ensure that they are seen by all.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association, protecting the future of deer and deer hunting through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation. All right. Well, today we're here talking with Tactacam and Aaron Stonehocker. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you?
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So where are you located, Aaron?
Currently in Rockville, Maryland. It's about 12 miles from D.C.
Wow.
Wow, that's quite the distance from Minnesota.
Right. No doubt. Busy place out there. No doubt, for sure.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about you and then, your role with Tactacam and kind of how you got started with them and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. So Aaron Stonehocker, I'm one of the brand managers here at Tactacam. I got started with Tactacam going on 8 years ago now. This is my 8th year at the company. I was the original employee, which is kind of a cool thing to tote, I guess. Mm-hmm. Actually found out about Tactacam originally through magazine articles that I write for the Iowa Post, when they first started advertising there with their point of view cameras, and I had a few questions, called. The owners actually answered the customer service line, which was awesome. And of course, I was hooked at that point once I found out that, and just asked if I could help out in any way. That led to a part-time job working on building what's called the Tactacam Team Program, which is our gigantic 760-person grassroots marketing team. Wow. And then from there, I got a full-time job because it wasn't growing fast enough. And then over my 8 years here, I've done everything from sales, grassroots marketing. I'm back in the marketing team now, running our conservation programs, our outfitter and land management program. Did a little bit of touch on our rewards program that we're still launching. And so done a little bit of everything, but it's been an exciting 8 years.
Well, that's pretty cool. I guess I didn't know that you were one of the original ones, so that's pretty neat. Have you been in Minnesota before, or were you from Minnesota, or just got with them, wherever you're at? Yeah,
I originally actually grew up in Iowa. Okay. And then I was in the Air National Guard for 6 years, and my wife did ROTC through the University of Iowa. So when she commissioned as an officer in the Air Force, we got stationed in Virginia, and that's where I first found out about Tactacam and kicked off. And so when they hired me, it was a little bit of a process because as a small company, they had about 4 or 5 players in the game, I guess, including the ownership team. And they had all just packed up, relocated from several different states and moved to Caledonia, Minnesota, which is where Ben Stern, about 30 miles, 40 miles from where Ben Stern lived, the original founder. So, it took them about 6 months to decide, hey, is this grassroots marketing thing going to work? And if so, do we hire an outside guy now that we all just moved across the country? So I got lucky, I guess.
Right. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting story for sure.
Yeah.
Is there a guy that works there named Phil? Or am I making that up?
The only Phil that used to be part of the company was Phil Parsons, I think was his last.
Okay.
And that was like right as I started. When I got on their very first kind of kickstart of a field staff or pro staff team, Phil was the guy that was doing that.
Yeah. See, I had talked to him before, because we were part of that.
Yeah. Jimmy had started True Friends Outdoors years ago.
Long time ago. And I dealt with Phil for a while, year or two. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. And I know from the beginning, I've talked to Aaron and then Scott quite a bit. Over the years and whatnot. So, and we kind of, MDHA really kind of kicked off a little bit more Tactacam just before COVID, really, or right as COVID was kind of going on. And of course, I knew of Tactacam from TFO days and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So, and then I've been talking to Aaron for quite some time now. So,
Yeah, in several different capacities. It's been kind of cool.
Yeah, yep, it really has. It really has. So, so as you said, Tactacam's located in Caledonia, Minnesota. So that's pretty cool. Is that, their factory, warehousing, stuff like that? Of course, I know stuff is kind of made all over the place, but.
Yeah. So the original, when I first flew in for my first interview with those guys, everything was done in like something the size of a garage, which is like maybe a 30 by 30 building.
Wow.
I mean, everything from all the parts, the assembly, the shipping, the offices that they had,
Yep.
it was all in there. And then now we have 3 different locations. We have the original Caledonia location. The warehouse expanded, I guess, is now offices. They've got some customer service headquartered out of there. Some of our billing offices are still located there. They've got a giant warehouse in Decorah, Iowa. It's kind of the second headquarters now. And we've just expanded to the point where bringing in like 3PL partners to help us with warehousing, just because we're expanding so fast that the infrastructure that we keep moving into is getting outgrown about the time that we move into it. So adding partners in that space now too. But yeah, Decorah, Iowa and Caledonia, Minnesota are kind of a dual split for headquarters.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
So do you think that growth is because of the trail cam division? I guess you call it.
Oh yeah, 100%, man.
Really?
Oh yeah, Tactacam. We had around like 50-ish employees before we launched Reveal, and we just busted the 400 employee mark, and that's in 4 years we grew that fast.
Wow.
It's been insane.
Yeah. That's and I mean, what's unique about the Reveal camera? I mean, to me, it's the video that you can actually get on your, sent to you too. That's what I really like about it. Is that what sets it apart?
Sure, man. Well, I almost say what sets Reveal apart, and it's going to sound really weird, is how basic it is. So what Tactacam, when we decided to get into, well, I'll back up. Probably 6 years ago now, Tactacam had actually been like contracted with a few different like non-cellular trail cameras, everything from building boards to lenses to like a complete build on a camera. And when I showed up to the office for some meeting, and the 3D printed model of this camera that we had built and been contracted to build for another company was sitting there, and I was like, Jeff, like, if you're going to go through this trouble, why don't you build your own trail camera? And he's like, man, I've got zero interest in ever getting into that space. It's too saturated.
Wow.
There's just no point. Then, fast forward a few years, and the guys that own Tactacam, they're as big a deer hunters as anybody. They've tried every cellular camera that's out there. As that thing started to grow, and really they just said, hey, there's nothing out there that checks all the boxes, whether it's ease of use, whether it's reliability, customer service sucks, whatever. There's always something detriment to these companies. And so they sat down basically over a beer with a whiteboard in front of them and said, hey, if we could build a trail camera, like, what would we want it to do as a user? And can we check like 4 or 5 boxes? And if they can do it, then we'll get into it. And so they all agreed, basically build just a flat out reliable camera. It needs to be simple, needs to be reliable, needs to just flat out work. That's another Tactacam. And then we build a customer service team that can stand behind it, if it does take off. And so they started building. They built a handful of cameras. They tested them. They loved them. And we built a few thousand to test the market. And those things sold out like overnight. And that's what started the Reveal craze. And then, of course, everybody knows COVID hit. Yeah. So not only did we start this craze for our products, but we also put a huge demand like on the back burner because we didn't have any product available. And then it's just been a mad charge to run ever since. So I'd say what sets Tactacam apart, it is in the cellular space. So you mentioned the photos and videos coming to your phone.
Right.
That's, the new age of trail cameras. You can sit on your couch now and manage, see what's going on in multiple states, multiple locations, multiple stand locations. It just makes that super simple. Data collection, the cameras actually collect data, and you can filter out your photos to bucks, does, whatever kind of hunting you're trying to do. And the cameras are collecting and compiling data for you, so you can start to know what weather patterns those bucks move in and all that stuff, which is huge.
Mm-hmm.
But just making the cellular game simple, that's what sets Tactacam apart. The more technical factors, I'd say our customer service team, we're right around 200 customer service agents. They're all US based. So you're going to pick up when you call in, within a few minutes, you're going to get a phone call answered by a real person, at home and here in the US somewhere.
That's a big thing
That
nowadays.
is nice. That is nice.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge. And then what else? We've got our all the data that comes in from Tactacam. It's not stored overseas. We have U.S. based data storage solutions here. So all your photos, video content, anything about you is stored here in the United States. So it's secure, and you can rest assured with that. Which now we're basically a technology data company at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So that's really, really important, and there isn't another company out there that can say that. So that's a huge.
Yeah, no doubt. And are you guys still doing point of view cameras?
The point of view kind of took a back burner. So, what was it? October of last year, we actually, as employees, had an all call with the ownership team, and they basically announced to us that for the first time ever, Reveal's getting so big, it's an all hands on deck approach to just keep riding this wave and staying in the front of the pack, I guess, from the cellular camera perspective. And so the POV cameras for the first time took a back seat to the Reveal, which was, for a guy like me that started with the POVs,
right?
A little bit of bittersweet news, but at the end of the day, I get it. So we're basically in a support status with those. So you're not going to see any new cameras come out or anything like that, but we're still supporting the brand. Accessories, cameras in stock if people want to buy them. But basically, we've gone to like a dealer direct model instead of a DTC model. So Amazon or your local sporting goods stores where you're going to find POV products, you're not going to find it on Tactacam.com anymore is really the biggest change.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I just got a new bow, and I've always used Tactacam as my stabilizer, and I'll have to go to you to get that.
Right, I can hook you up.
That's right. Get it through MDHA.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, that's really cool. I had no idea. I really like the Reveal and how simple it is, right. And I bet it was a tough market to get into because there were so many cameras out there, and it seemed like, you guys hit the market at a good time just before COVID for your simple use and the price point that Tactacam has. The only one closer would have been Spy Point or what's the other one that we have? Stealth, yeah. But and then honestly, the way the trail cams have evolved with being able to use AT&T and Verizon,
right?
Because I remember the first couple cell cams, they were $300, and then you had to pick what network you wanted.
It was a lot different.
Yeah, it was a lot different. So I mean, obviously, technology changed, and I think Reveal is really, and Tactacam has really picked up on that and excelled at it. Honestly, so.
Yeah, because you can, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can have the video sent to your phone too, correct?
You can.
Yeah, see that?
All of your photos, or I guess the settings in your camera, you can set it to photo plus video. So basically the camera snaps the initial picture, starts a video, and then if you have multi-shot turned on, it'll take the follow-on pictures after that video too. So, or the last picture in the chain, I guess, is when it starts the video. So from there, the video is stored to the SD card, and then you can request the photo or video in your app. You just press and hold down on the photo, gives you the option to download video, download it. So you can get them right to your phone. I love the video mode. I have every single one of my cameras on there. I feel like I'm downloading them all the time.
Yeah. I do know it depends on what platform or program you get. If you get like the cheaper one, you don't get the video capability. You have to add on
the different tier.
The different tier, like the middle tier, I think, to get that video. I want to say.
Yeah. No, so actually,
of course, it might have changed now, I suppose.
Yeah, you can do video with any of the cameras now, so or any data plan. It doesn't matter the size of the plan. So we just have a couple options. So if you're going to be a guy that downloads one here, one there, you're not going to burn up a ton of them in a month, I guess, or with it whenever your data plan parameters are, monthly or annual. Then it's worth it just to get the $5 bucket is what they call it. So the first video that you try to download, you're going to get a pop-up that says, hey, for $5, we're going to give you 50 HD downloads if you want to proceed. You can click yes. So if you're not going to use 50 in a month, then pay the $5, call it a good day, and until you hit your 50th photo, you won't have to pay for HD versions again. If you're a person like me that, any video for the most part, advertising, marketing, whatever that I'm going to put out there, I'll download a ton of videos in a month. And so I have the option to turn on Pro Extra, which is what you were referring to.
Yeah.
Pro Extra is $9 a month, and it gives you unlimited access to HD photos and videos. So, if you're going to download more than 50, it's cheaper and a better deal to get the Pro Extra. If you're going to do 50 or less, just stick with the $5 bucket.
Gotcha. Yeah, the data plans are really cool. I know I got my folks it was the SKB a little while ago, the security version, and we used that to kind of see the driveway, stuff like that. And I know we chose a cheaper plan, I guess, to start out with, and I think he gets, I want to say maybe 200 photos or something like that for a month, or is it 500? I guess I'd have to look to be specific.
And that's down in Kansas, right?
Yeah, yep. So, and I'm attached to the app, so it's really cool just to, kind of spy on them and say, hey, what's going on down there? But I can see the weather, and everything, and that's really neat. But now that I know that I can do, video capability, I may have to add that to it as well, just for certain times, because they love, and he's got the lithium battery pack, and I think, let's see, I bet that lithium battery pack, I want to say, lasted a good 6 months before he had to charge it. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So touching on the data plan piece, they have the starter plan for $5. That's 250 photos. So if you're not going to go over 250 in a month, so great for security options, on the driveway, something like that. Get the $5 plan. It's going to do awesome for you, and you can still do the videos on there. Intermediate is 500 photos a month, and then unlimited is the Pro version.
Yeah.
Which is $12 a month.
Yeah.
And then your cameras, like all the photos you have. So if you have 3 cameras, you might have one on starter and you might have one on intermediate. Those photos compile. So if one camera does go a little over, it can actually pull from the photo bucket from another camera too. So.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
No, me neither. That's good to know.
But you do have to buy a separate plan for each camera.
That's right.
Okay.
But you can share the plan.
So, see, that's something I didn't even know about. That's really neat.
Yeah, I could definitely use that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. So, we started out with the point of view cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Tactacam first started. And
I still use it.
Yeah, I do too. And actually, I've got the 6.0 now. Thank you. And but of course, when we were in Kansas, had it set up on my rifle, do you think I would have turned it on, even to just get some B-roll or anything? Yeah, no, totally forgot. Of course, that happens 9 times out of 10 when I'm bow hunting too.
Yeah, for sure, me too.
Yeah, or of course, the very first Tactacam, 1.0 or whatever you want to call it. I remember that it was the button pushing and the vibrating was. You really had to read the instructions just before you went out to understand what they did, because I had a lot of times where I thought I was recording and I get my feet. And then when I start recording, because I want to record this doe or walking by, I'm not gonna shoot her, but I was gonna record her walking by. That's when I shut it off. But the whole time I had it on my feet. Of course, I'm sure there's a lot of people that do that.
I still have that one on my bow.
I do too. Yeah. Yep.
Yep, the original metal ones, man. Those things are bulletproof.
I love those things.
Yep, I've still got mine too. And it still runs. As long as you can find batteries for it, if you end up having a battery that goes bad. But they're still rocking.
I still got a battery and a package for that one.
Yep. Yep. And I've used that one. I actually did some video years ago. We got a guide for fishing when my folks are up. And I was like, this thing says it's waterproof, so I'm going to give it a try. So I put it on a monopod and stuck it down in the water. And when they were reeling the fish in, and oh man, that was some of the coolest video. That was something really neat that I never would have thought of, so.
Oh yeah, dropping them down on a boomstick, man. We got a ton of guys that do that. I've done it a lot on my kayak. You kind of take the camera off your head or whatever, hold it under the water, let a fish go. Guys bow fishing, we got a lot of cool videos of guys doing that, shooting right in front of the camera in the water.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things are killer. That
is pretty sweet. So, obviously, the point of view cameras and the reveal cameras, reveal are what Tactacam offers. Do you guys offer anything else, or is it just pretty much the reveal and the point of view at this point?
So, as of Tuesday, actually, we officially launched a totally new company. It's a separate company, but it is done and powered by Tactacam. It's called FeatherSnap. So it's an electronic smart bird feeder, actually.
Oh.
So totally out of left field.
Totally out of left field, but that's brand spanking new then.
The brand's brand new. Yeah, I've got mine in the backyard. And
so is it like take videos of the birds or something, or what's it do?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a dual cell bird feeder, so you can put different types of seed in it. It's solar powered, got a solar roof, and then it's got a smart camera inside of it. It's Wi-Fi powered, which is a little different, so you don't have to buy a cell plan.
Makes sense, though.
But connects to your house's Wi-Fi, and then photos of every bird that lands on there. Takes videos of it. So just a cool thing, if you're checking out your reveal feed and your wife's a bird watcher, she can sit there and check out her bird feed. Or I'm turning into just as much of a bird watcher out here in Maryland, if I'm being honest. So.
No, that sounds pretty. That sounds pretty cool. That would.
Yeah, that definitely intrigues me.
Do well.
I have to look into that because I know we have hummingbird feeders outside our big picture window, and we've got 2 feeders, and we had, I want to say, 12 to 15 hummingbirds constantly, and it's just fun to sit there in the kitchen, eat dinner, or whatever, and just watching them, all over the place. So having them on a bird feeder would be even cool to see what other birds are, in the area.
Yeah, especially if it can record, so you could check it out later. That'd be handy dandy. Yeah, that'd be a great gift too. Yeah,
as long as I can keep the bear away from it.
Yeah, there's that.
Might be a little expensive for that man black bear to come by.
We've got videos of raccoons sitting on the little perch. It's got an extendable perch, so for different sized birds, they can get on there and eat. But got people that got videos of raccoons on there. Got guys getting squirrels, so they're squirrel and raccoon rated. But I think if a bear stood on that diving board, we'd have a problem.
Well, if I end up getting one and I get a bear on it, then I'll definitely send it like, yep, these are not bear proof yet.
You know what? I was looking at it the other day, and I was setting it off in the backyard with my boy. He's 2 years old. He's wanting to dig up worms and go fishing all the time. And so we were out back digging up worms, and I'm like, as far on the side of the house as you could think, and this thing's on a tree on the opposite side of the house. But the field of view is so wide. If you set it on the side of your house, you could get your front yard and your backyard in the same frame, and it's kind of a security camera at the same time.
Well, I suppose.
We were easily 100 feet away and setting it off, and it was taking videos and photos of us, but we were just total opposite side of the yard. So for that, you could have a pretty cheap security system and a bird watching system at the same time.
Right.
Bad idea.
That is a pretty good idea.
And it's called Feather Snap.
Feather Snap. Yeah, you can find it at feathersnap.com.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Definitely take a look at that.
I guess it kind of says our age when we're sitting here talking about bird watching.
Bird watching and stuff. Yeah, no doubt.
It's the evolution of a hunter.
Yeah.
Because you guys have graduated hunting and now you're into bird watching.
Right.
Pretty sad, but it's true.
I had coffee this morning. I was sitting in the kitchen watching the hummingbirds fly by and whatnot. Then my dog, he likes to watch them out the window and then look at the squirrels. So
I was watching turkeys walk across my field this morning.
Yeah, I didn't have any turkeys.
Yeah, I like seeing them now. This first year I've seen them at my place.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's awesome. And speaking of hummingbirds, if you like that, definitely follow the Feather Snap channel. There might be something cool coming for you.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely checking that out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Sounds like good gifts. I can get one of those from my old man for Father's Day.
Yeah, you guys are definitely kind of on the cutting edge, and that's pretty cool. You guys are trying to come out with more products and everything. That, yeah,
great products too.
Yeah, exactly.
And with ties to Minnesota, which I like. And I know you're in Maryland, but
Yeah. Hey, with a life in the Air Force, I bounce around. I've been. It was Virginia to start when I got hired, and then the last 5 years we were in Montana, which was amazing.
Yeah,
right.
Back to the East Coast in Maryland, and this time next year we'll be in Texas. So
that sounds pretty good.
All over the place.
Yeah, for sure. I see you wearing a 75 hard shirt. Are you on that right now?
This is my second round of it.
Really? Hardcore?
Yeah, I bought the shirt this year. I was like, I'll buy some apparel and support them a little bit. But I did it last year, loved it. Did the phase 1 earlier this year, and then my year ran out. So then I'm jumping right into 75 hard again.
Yeah, my brother-in-law does that all the time. He does. He's pretty hardcore on it.
Yeah, I can't even do 4 hard. Done.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, for sure. Just something to get engaged. And I will say, that if you follow Andy Purcell, you can learn all about it on his podcast and stuff. But, everybody, for me, I started it kind of for the fitness thing. It's just moving around the last couple of years. It's been tough to stay on top of my fitness and stuff. So I started it for that. And then learned more about the podcast, started listening to his stuff and about the mental toughness side of it, which is really what he built it for. And I will absolutely raise my hand and say, I mean, it sharpens you up. Just sticking to that 2 workouts a day seems weird, but once you get into it, it's good. And then the no alcohol thing, that helps, obviously.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I know. I'm a little jealous. I'm not lying. I'm not judging. I'm wishing. I'm definitely not judging you guys.
No.
But no, actually, this is this day 10 right now, so I've got a little ways to go.
Oh wow! So you're just getting back in. All right. Well,
just back in.
Good for you.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you on that. Yeah, no doubt.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association has been building our hunting and conservation legacy over the past 40 plus years through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation in Minnesota for Minnesota.
So what's the best selling model that you guys have for the reveal?
Oh man, volume wise, probably our X Gen 2.
Yep.
But when we launched the X Pro line, that one's a pretty close second. It might be at this point. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'd say they're hand in hand.
Yep.
We had a really popular demand where we brought back the XB, which was the out flash version. And we still get a lot of demand for the SK as well. It's just those two were they were limited run intentionally when we launched them. When they ran out, the customer demand, everybody was wanting them, so we brought them back for a little bit. So,
yep.
But I think the X Gen 2, that the price point on it, and it's a simple camera. It just works.
Right.
No. I guess all of our cameras are pretty simple, but the least amount of frills that are on there. And but yeah, they're a great little camera.
Yeah, that's what I like about that one as well. And yeah, I was really surprised. I was sad when the XB went away. And then I was looking on the website and everything. It's like, oh, it's back. Well, that's pretty sweet. I like that one. So, and that one actually, for the first couple of years, that one sold the best, obviously, because, the no flash and whatnot. So,
when we introduced that no flash, that was huge. And then it had for the guys that care about the HD side of things, the megapixels, that's a 24 megapixel camera, which is nice. So a little bit higher res on the SD card version. But the no glow flash and the built-in GPS are pretty big features as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I do like that built-in GPS as well.
Well, it's handy. And you guys also sell? Do you sell the bear-proof boxes and things like that for all models? We do. Yep. Yeah. So you have the Reveal security box. Covers all the different models, which is nice. Okay.
It has 2 ports on antenna ports, I guess, because the SK has 2 antennas.
Yes.
But yeah, those are really handy. We get a lot of guys that use those. And then pro tip, if you're running, the hardest thing, I guess, that bears are on cameras is the antennas. Sometimes they get the whole camera off there, but they're pros at getting those antennas snapped off. They nibble on them, pull on them, whatever. So what a lot of guys are doing now is taking the extended range antenna with them if they know they're in a bear area, and just running that thing another 6-7 foot up the tree. And the bears don't seem to mess with the wire as much as they will the antenna sitting right there.
Something they can sink their teeth into, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And how's the solar work on? I know there's a model with the solar panel built in.
SK. Yep.
Yeah, is that the SK? Yeah.
Yep.
And that works pretty good?
The SK model has it.
Have you used that one before?
That's the one camera that I have zero personal experience with.
Okay, of course I'd ask about that one, yeah.
Well, no, hey, I'm a blue collar expert at it. I don't know all the details, but no, I got mine as a sales sample actually. Left it in the box, showing dealers, that kind of thing. And then when we discontinued it, I actually gave it to my father-in-law for a Christmas gift. So I never got it out of the box to use it. Having said that, I'm running our outfitter program and land realty guys a lot too. They love them. And really the biggest consideration with that, having the built-in solar panel, is half-size solar panel. And it's designed to maintain the battery. It's not designed to recharge the battery to 100%. So a lot of customers, especially for that first year, were like, hey, my camera's never getting over 60%. Well, it's actually designed or doing what it's designed to do. So it lets the battery trickle down. And then as soon as it gets to 60%, sometimes in the 70% range, that solar panel will kick in and basically just maintain it right at that 60% mark.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So the considerations for it, it's an awesome camera. It works very well, really highly reviewed. Mm-hmm. Make sure it gets full sun. That's the one I'm telling people. Guys in South Texas on feeders, run an SK, you're going to have a really good program there. A guy that wants to throw it on a deer trail in northern Minnesota in the hardwoods, it's going to burn out.
It's tougher. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Well, and with that, they do have, within the other version as well, they've got the external solar panel. That's got to be 4x6 almost, 4 inches wide, 6 inches tall, maybe a little bit bigger actually, more like a 5x7.
Eight, yeah.
8, okay.
And that one you can actually attach in a different direction or further away from the camera.
It's got a cord, so you can definitely attach it separately. Okay. And then you guys just came out with a, I'm going to get this wrong, but a stronger cord, more of a cable that's a little bit more heavy duty. So that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah, eliminates those squirrels from chewing on them as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Squirrels, raccoons are kind of tough on them.
Yeah.
Got that armored solar cable.
Yeah, that works out really good. And then they've got a camera stake arm for, if you set it on a food plot or if you don't have a tree, and it's got different attachments for your camera than your solar panel and everything else. That's really kind of neat. Mm-hmm. And then with that SK version, of course, you can use it for any camera. But I know we sell a lot of the tree mounts that angle. So you can angle them a lot better. Actually, I went through a few of those last week. So those are always good to have around.
Yeah, I need to get myself some of those. The guys make fun of me here at Tactacam because I'm the guy that still shoves a stick behind the camera to get the angle and everything just right. And everybody's like, Aaron, why aren't you buy the tree mount? Or strap management. I get made fun of for that too because I'm wrapping my strap 3 or 4 times around the tree. Like, just get yourself a tree mount and call it a day.
Yeah, I do the same damn thing. There's always a perfect stick out there for that angle.
There is.
Exactly.
You run around, you pick the sizes, and then you get the aiming feature on and figure it out.
Yeah, wrapped strap 13 times around there and tighten a knot for sure.
I tell you what, on public land, I think that's actually a key. The guy that was making fun of me last week about it, I told him, I said, as many people as I get on this camera waving at it or download the video and you watch them like come back and take a second look at it, I think they see reveal and they leave it alone because I tell you, I got that strap. I mean, it would take some work to get that thing off the tree just because of how I have that strap tied. So I think they probably checked that out. I'm like, I'm not messing with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Not worth the headache.
That's where I'm always afraid of putting an expensive camera out on public land because it's like, God, if they take that thing. But like you said, nowadays more people are, using it for video and if it has a GPS location and everything. So, I mean, if somebody steals it, they're probably going to get caught with it, if that person wants to pursue it, a little bit more. But, before, you buy the cheap. Yeah, before, you buy the cheap cameras at L&M or Mills Fleet, you get the pack of 6 or so.
Right.
They steal those, who cares? These ones nowadays, that's where I think about the bear box just for even, having people not steal and put a chain on it and everything. But
cable or something,
yeah.
And then they can't get in there and mess with it. I've been lucky. I haven't had anybody steal a camera yet. I've had 2 cameras get shut off. So they obviously got there, and I didn't get pictures of the people either. So they must have seen it, worked their way around, and popped the door open, shut it off. Which, whatever. I'd rather have them do that than steal a $120 camera. But at least with the bear box, they can't even get to the door. So.
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So, what organizations do you guys work with? I mean, obviously, Minnesota Deer Hunter Association.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. So we. Our conservation program is pretty robust. We've been doing it, about as long as I've been here. We started with Whitetails Unlimited. They were our first partners. Then we work with you guys. Now it's Mule Deer Foundation. We got some projects going with those guys. Projects with Delta Waterfall, NWTF, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Pheasants Forever, Quails Forever. Got some stuff rocking with those guys as well. At this point, there probably isn't an organization we haven't helped out in some way, shape, or form, or partnered with some way, shape, or form. But every year it can look a little bit different depending on what partnership opportunities come about.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I know MDHA really appreciates the partnership that we've had and everything. And the cool thing is you guys, so kind of how we work it, and I know NWTF and some of the others do, is with our chapters. They get a cell cam package and everything. So typically we'll put together a package for them where they get a reveal, a lithium battery pack, and sometimes a solar panel. And then we'll also put together a POV package as well. And so they run that for a raffle. And the cool thing is Tactacam, you guys will help send out a rep to run the raffle for us at the banquets, and that is really cool because they typically, they bring the TV, they bring their own setups, and they can really sell the Tactacam product a lot better than just a normal guy running a raffle, and that really helps. And the proceeds, obviously, the fundraising end of it, it's one of the top selling raffles because everybody knows, the point of view cameras and the reveal packages. So so that's been a really good addition to a lot of our chapters and our banquets that we do.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's we're really passionate about that piece. And this last year, we started our Activations for Conservation program, a little bit of a rebrand on our conservation support, with us primarily being a cellular camera company now. So that's going a step deeper. And really, you talked about the reps. We have 750 reps, all 50 states in Canada. And they are, that's what they do. They get out involved in their grassroots communities. So they're involved in their conservation organization partners, helping you guys raffle off stuff, making more money on those products to go towards your guys' mission there.
Yep.
Really cool. Kind of shout out to one of our guys, Neil Climby out of Ohio. He's getting nationally recognized next week at the Whitetails Unlimited convention for his efforts in being that rep that's been out there, pounding pavement for him and really raising a lot of money with those events. He's been with us 3.5 years, and his cameras that he's raffled have raised over $50,000 for Whitetails Unlimited, just one of our reps. So it just kind of showcases the power of having that in-person interaction, showcasing the product, pushing the product for you guys, that kind of thing. And then the activations on conservation side, we're looking now to say, okay, we can help you guys fundraise better with our products. And that's a great support piece for your guys' mission. But how do we get our fingernails dirty with it? So taking those same reps and our employees, now that we're a 400 plus employee company, and getting our fingernails dirty with you guys as well. So finding projects to help you guys on, specifically getting our reps out there to help your volunteer chapters and stuff too, like in person. So we're really looking forward to the expansion of that.
Yeah, no, that's pretty neat. That's awesome. Yeah, we really appreciate everything you guys do for us, and obviously I know every organization does as well. It's and we love it as well because Tactacam being Minnesota based, that's one of MDHA's big thing is try to stay Minnesota obviously as much as possible, and that's why we really appreciate the support and support you guys every way MDHA can. So
right.
100%, man. Yeah, we appreciate all the local partners that we have, and if you guys have other ways to get involved, let us know what they are, because that's a big part of us too, that we like to support local as well where we can. And kind of a fun fact, Caledonia is the wild turkey capital of Minnesota.
Yep.
That's where the initial birds were released on the repopulation effort.
Really? They finally just got to my house this year.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for them for a few years.
Yeah. I had a good flock around my place for a couple of years, and now they've moved a little bit further. They're probably the ones at your place now.
Oh yeah.
They moved a little bit further east. Now I just get a few singles here and there that kind of cruise through, but yeah, the flock that I had is just moved on.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to see them at my place.
Right.
Hopefully they can stick around.
Anywhere you see a turkey.
Right. Because then maybe I can start hunting them here in a year or so.
Yeah,
I'll let them build up a little bit.
Yep.
Before I take advantage of them, but it'd be nice. So, are you a hunter?
I am. Yep. No, diehard hunter. I kind of got myself into it. My dad hunted a little bit here and there, like growing up and stuff, but really wasn't a hunter. And then I don't know really what triggered it in me. Probably staring at the deer acting into my grandpa's in the rafters, just growing up playing out there all the time, but shooting BB guns, that kind of thing at grandpa's house.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you grew up in Iowa, you probably got some pretty nice deer down there, I would imagine.
I've got one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a couple. Yeah, I've got my biggest deer is a 147 inch, I think, whitetail, but his antler, I can fit my shoulders inside of his rack, so he's super wide. I don't remember what the inside spread is, and then he's got an 8-inch drop pen on one side.
Wow.
That's my biggest buck, but he was about a 300-pound deer, just biggest deer I've ever seen on the hoof.
And that's an Iowa deer.
He was an Iowa deer.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds like an Iowa deer.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. When I grew up, it was just hunt the same tree stand every year, and you were hunting there during the rut. It was like a rut corridor. you just never knew on the day what was going to come through. And on that day, I got really lucky.
I can
the biggest
imagine.
deer in the county was walking through.
Oh man,
That's awesome.
So do you do much hunting in Maryland? Is there much hunting in Maryland? I mean,
Maryland would surprise you, man. It's there's first of all, there's some monster deer here. Their bodies are a heck of a lot smaller than Iowa and Midwest here, but antler size. I mean, I've got 2 or 3. I live in the middle of town, and I've got like 0.00025 acres that I live on. But I've got deer that walk up to my backpack. They're 160, 170 inch deer.
oh wow,
And I've got a piebald that dwarfs all the other deer in the area. He probably weighs a big deer out here. Probably is in the 180 pound range, maybe 200. This guy probably weighs 250, 270.
Wow.
Just a beast of a deer.
and he's a piebald.
He's a piebald. He's the coolest looking. I'll send you guys pictures of
Yeah,
it.
that'd
That'd be neat.
Post from the podcast video or something. But he's a tank. And he came through my backyard during the rut, but he lives like every day. He lives like 3 miles as a crow flies from me.
Yep.
Down by a lake. So there's some slammer deer out here. I do a lot of public hunting out here. The urban hunting thing is big. Just haven't really cracked the ice, and I don't think I'm going to live here long enough to really get serious about it. But yeah, public land out here is pretty good. As you can imagine, the population is of people is high, but the deer numbers are high too. So again, I think just putting the time in, doing your scouting, the cameras help. I've had 2 or 3 bucks last year. Probably 130 inch 8-point, which is a big 8-point, and then
Wow.
the biggest 10 that I had on camera, I bet he was 150, 160 range
Really?
on public. And I had him on my cameras. I just never got him when I was out hunting, but I got 1 deer last year. So I got a little, the smallest non-typical deer you'll ever see. But I'm a meat hunter, if I'm being honest.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Putting in the
no
work,
doubt.
putting in the effort. I'm
Yep.
on public land. First legal thing that walks by, I'm getting after it. So.
Yep.
Yep.
So with that, is it mainly archery or is it rifle out there as well?
They have a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Archery, muzzleloader, rifle. Last year, I took the shotgun for a walk a couple times. Never saw any deer when I was out there. And then my bow hunting is what I'll get more serious about this year. I put it like 3 or 4 days in last year and ended up getting lucky on one of them. But this year I'm going to pound the pavement a little harder, especially during that early part of the season, just having kind of seen a season of what hunting looks like, what pressure looks like. Our early archery out here is the ticket. If you can get out there and know where some deer might be,
Yep.
and then, nice thing working from home, I can kind of beat the bush when people are waiting for the weekend, right? I can get out during the week, and I think that'll be an advantage too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
sounds like you got some good deer out there. I'm kind of jealous.
No doubt. I know.
Yeah, there's a pile of them.
So what do you use for your bow setup?
Right now, I've got this is bad. It's an Expedition. It was a 2 years ago model. I can't remember what I think it's the X33.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm really digging that one. It took me a while to get used to. It's got where the back wall hits is also right where the bow wants to take off. So it took me a while to just a lot of shots, a lot of repetition to kind of get my back muscles to just hold everything back. And I shoot a finger release, which is really the toughest part. So I got to shoot my finger release like a back tension. But now that I'm good, I love it. Super light. I can, pinwheel anything up. While I was living in Montana, I practiced regularly at 70, 80 yards and, shooting a baseball set group. So
Nice.
I'm super confident with it, but I really like that.
Yeah.
I had an Expedition for a
You
while.
did. Yeah. That was a nice bow.
Yeah, that was a few years back. I don't even remember what model it was, but I think that's out of South Dakota, aren't they? Expedition?
Expedition's actually out of Iowa.
Is it Iowa?
Yeah.
Yep, Decorah, Iowa. Yep.
Oh, there you go. Makes sense then. But yeah, I had one for a while. Really, that was a beautiful bow too.
Yeah, it was. That was a nice looking bow. I think when you had that, I was looking at getting one too. Because that was about the time I needed an upgrade, but I just couldn't pull the trigger at that point. So, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never been like a huge, I guess in the bow world, I've never been like the brand loyal person. My first bow was a Martin.
Yeah.
Had buddies that shot Matthews when the switchback was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
And Hoyt. And then, but yeah, I had my Martin. I've had a Diamond. I can't remember what the one I had in between that was, but then I got into Expedition and I really, really liked it. If you can get your hands on an MX-16,
Yeah.
I love that bow, man. I sold it to upgrade to this newer model. And then, like I said, I just had some trouble getting used to that bow. So the bow shot phenomenally well. I just had trouble getting used to it. And so I was like, had the buyer's remorse, like, man, I really should have kept that 16. But now that I'm used to this X33, I'm really digging it. But yeah, I'm happy with Expedition. It's a pretty good bow, man.
Yeah. They are really nice bows. That's for sure.
For sure.
So you hunt with shotgun. Do you rifle hunt as well?
Yeah. So I got into rifle hunting in Montana. In Iowa, where I grew up, it was shotgun only. So grew up shotgun, open sight hunting, and then moved to Virginia. The county that we lived in Virginia, and that county that I hunted in, Surrey County, was shotgun as well. So shotgun or muzzleloader. I bought my first muzzleloader out there, and then we moved to Montana. And when I went to the first gun show and bought my first 270, I'm like, I got to have a rifle.
There you go. 270.
And, yeah, man. I almost never looked back. It's just a whole different game, and obviously it extends your range out there, and the long range world as a whole. Another rabbit hole we could get into, but it's just a lot of fun. And then moving back here to the East Coast, the rifle becomes safe queens. I got the shotgun busted back off, and so a little bit of everything. Really depends on the opportunities I have.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I'm glad he said 270 and not 6.5.
Oh, yeah, me too. Thank
I saw the 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah, we don't.
So I do have I have two 6.5s actually. I've got a 6.5 by 300 Weatherby.
Okay.
I got talked into that one when I was out there after a few years of hunting with the 270, and then bought myself a 6.5 PRC, which was a gun that I intended to get out for actually getting into like the PRS stuff. I just never dove as deep as I thought I was going to. So I did end up with one of those, and I've made my 2 longest hunting shots with that. It's about my favorite gun to shoot. That's 6.5 PRC.
That's awesome. I was actually looking at the PRC and comparing, and whatnot, and I have one sitting in a corner, and I've been thinking about getting that. But then I had a Creedmoor come in. And it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll rotate over that one because the PRC is pretty close to the 270. So it's like, well, I got the 270, so I'm still debating, but the 270 still rocks. So
270 all day, man.
Yeah.
Well, you can't go wrong with 270. There's no doubt about that. No. So what do you think about that 6.5 300?
Yeah.
I'm not terribly familiar with that one.
It's man, it's a killer. So it's the guy that I bought it from, he's a lifelong Weatherby nut, and he's a Weatherby dealer in Montana, a smaller shop guy. And I got connected up with him through the sales program at Tactacam. He was a Tactacam dealer. And I went out to his house a couple of times, shot a couple of the Weatherby rifles. And the Weatherbys are just hot rods, right? They build the hottest cartridges in any caliber. That's what they're known for.
Mm-hmm.
And just being immersed in that conversation long enough got me excited. And I was like, I had the 270. I killed my first mule deer with it. My wife killed her first deer ever with it.
Awesome.
And then, I was like, it's got the super nice wood stock on it. I'm like, this thing, let's hand it down someday, right? So I kind of wanted to like not beat it up. I was looking for a rifle that, I could take in the mountains, beat off rocks, whatever, synthetic stock, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then now he starts talking about all this stuff, and the 6.5 300 had just kind of gotten really popular, or at least taken the conversation over, right? So we shot a couple rounds out there at his place, and he's like, dude, if you want a gun that he calls it pull for hair. You literally pull up. If the crosshairs hit hair, pull the trigger out to like 350 yards. This is the gun for you on deer, elk, whatever.
Yep.
And that's what sold me. So I went after it. First thing, what did I get with that one? I hunted. I got a couple white-tailed does with it. At 250 yards. Plenty, obviously, of caliber for that. Shot my first elk ever with it.
Awesome.
Which, on something like an elk, the one thing I'll say about that 6.5 300 is that it's got so much speed that bullet design really becomes a factor.
Yep.
I had the Hornady, I don't remember what bullets they were, but they were like the soft lead tip.
Okay.
For deer, coyotes, whatever, phenomenal. Antelope, got an antelope with that gun as well. Awesome. But the elk was such a big bodied animal, and I was within like 150 yards of it. I got close, and those bullets, like it did the job, but when we were skinning it out, it was like basically breaking the hide, hitting that first layer of muscle, and then just exploding it right there, like on the surface. So the fragments of the bullets were getting in and doing what they needed to do, but the bullet itself wasn't like punching through that chest cavity.
Really?
And just something I would never have thought of, but it taught me a good lesson. I'm glad it did what it needed to do.
Right.
But it was definitely interesting to see. And that showed me a whole new thing. So now I shoot the Burger VLDs out of it, and I've had really good luck with those. Yeah, it's a speed demon, man.
Yeah, sure. No doubt. Yeah. Recoil on that 6.5 300, not too bad compared to the 270, a little bit more.
I'd say slightly less than the 270, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Probably comparable to the 6.5 PRC.
Okay.
I've got a muzzle brake on it. Mine is a Weatherby Weathermark LT is the model. So it's the super light version.
Yep.
With a can on it, I think it'd probably shoot like a Creedmoor, to be honest. It's not that bad at all. It's got the muzzle brake on it. I will absolutely say wear ear pro with it. They will blow your eardrums out.
Wow.
It's the loudest gun in my gun safe. The only downside to that gun, and the reason I don't shoot it more than I do now, is because it's got that super thin profile barrel and it's fluted.
Yeah.
So it when they talk about barrels getting hot, that gun gets hot within like 2 shots. You got to let it cool down. So it's almost not even fun to take the range.
Yep.
That's good to know. Yeah, I had just saw that. I didn't know anything about that caliber. And then the new MDHA magazine that came out, you had a Weatherby ad in there.
Yes.
And it had a little QR code, and I scanned it, and one of the calibers they offered, and it was that 6.5
300. Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's cool. Yeah. And then I took that, the Bergera kind of took over for me with that 6.5 PRC. It's an easy gun to shoot. It's super accurate, heavier barrel, so I can just put more rounds through it at the range, stuff like that. But then I got a lot of distance, I guess, confidence with that gun, just because of the situation I ended up in hunting situations and got more proficient as a shooter. And now I actually took it to Texas with me. We had a team leader camp. The guys that help us manage that Tactacam team program, we had a camp for those guys this in May, and took it out to a long range school with Outdoor Solutions. We have a partnership with those guys, and brought my own personal gun down there, and I've officially hit a mile with that 6.5 PRC. So I don't know if I'll ever get another gun out now.
How do you even hit a mile? How do you hit a mile? What optics are you using at a mile? It baffles me.
On that gun, I've got a Zeiss LRP 8 to 24 power.
Okay.
Or maybe it's 10 to 24, but it's a good optic, super clear. And at that distance, man, everything's mirage. So
right.
You get any heat at all, everything's wavy. And so you're just really looking for like the wind holds is what you're looking for. But the hardest part is you kind of got to walk your way in, because if you have to make adjustments for wind at that distance, unless you've got like a straight dirt backdrop, you can't see where you're hitting. You're hitting grass or whatever. So you're not getting any feedback on your impact. And then when you hit the plate, they have like these lights. Codwell, I think, makes them, but they're like they're vibration activated. So when the plate vibrates, it like lights up to let you know where you hit.
Yep.
Or that you did hit the plate.
Right.
So yeah, if we didn't have those lights going off, you wouldn't know. But yeah, we hit it with 6.5 Creedmoor. So for the 6.5 Creedmoor guy, hit it a mile.
He's not here today.
How many shots did it take you? Do you mind?
On the Creedmoor, it took me 3 shots.
Wow.
Or 4 shots on the Creedmoor. On my PRC, I started with that one. We hit it 1,000. Went to 1250, went to 1500, and it was all back-to-back hits.
Yep. Got
lucky. There was not a lot of wind. The mirage was just barely going left to right. And then at a mile on the PRC, it took me 3 shots on that. That one took me 3. Creedmoor took me 4.
Wow. We're not going shooting with him. He's too good.
No doubt.
Well, that's as lucky as you can get. Like hardly any wind. And we had 4 guys down there. So, the first guy that hit, he had my second shot. And so he knew the wind call. And so once he had shot, then it was like, okay, everybody hold this much and then start shooting away. And it was good.
No, that's pretty cool. And yeah, those Bergeras, they're awesome rifles. I really enjoy those. Those are really cool. I'm hoping one day to have one of those in my collection, as long as with a Weatherby as well. So
yeah, I'm a big fan of Weatherby.
Yeah, yeah, and
it makes
obviously,
an awesome gun.
And obviously their sponsor partnership with MDHA as well.
Right,
so
right.
That kind of helps.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish we had some long ranges like that around here.
Yeah,
the longest we got around here, I think, is 300 yards.
Officially 300, yeah, but they are looking, from what I hear, to add something longer. But I figured
they got the property, but
it takes
a lot of clearing
start
around here.
Adding to it, then maybe that's when, because I would like to get into long range shooting, you know, as well. And that's really why I've looked at the Creed more and just to get into that a little bit more, you know, so
100%.
just
and
for
if you
something
guys are
fun to
looking
do.
for, oh yeah, for sure. And, you know, I did it, we did it out of our partnership, but taking a long range course was awesome. We went down 2 years ago with Ben, the guy who founded Tactacam. Him and I went down to help shoot some content when they were sponsoring, or we were sponsoring them with our spotting scope cameras and the FTSs for like what they do at the long range schools at Outdoor Solutions. Went down there, had a blast, learned a ton of information. And that first class, the level 1, they get you out to 1,000 yards. And so you walk away with just this whole new level of confidence, I guess, about shooting, right? And it does show you that it does take skill, you know, to hit at distance, but at the same time, it's all basic. And you know, kind of like shooting a bow, if you do the same thing every single time, then you just account for the little variables, you know, that the elements are putting on there, and you can hit at any distance. It's just a matter of knowing what your comfort zone is and stuff. And then this next one, it was kind of a hybrid course because it was like a custom thing they did for us. So the mile was huge, but they have shooting schools all over the country. You know, Outdoor Solutions does Texas and Utah are the 2 locations they have. But there's a ton of them. I'd be almost surprised if there isn't a PRS league somewhere in Minnesota or North Dakota, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm gonna have to look that. I wrote that down so that way I can look at it later too.
Right.
So
See
that's
if there's anything
cool
around here.
Yeah, I know in southern Kansas. Well, we drove by it when we were down there. They're putting on a long range shoot, and I know they've got a mile and they've got 1,000, and I know they have all that. And there was a lot of people there, and it was a windy day.
Oh my God, it was like 60-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, but there was a ton of people out there, so that was pretty cool.
They were still there.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you got to know how to shoot in the elements, really, right? So reading wind is like the toughest thing. The first class we did, there was like no wind at all, and so it was kind of easy because you were basically reading mirage for like max was a 5-mile-an-hour wind. And then the second class we did with this last one, they take you out and they've got a canyon course, and so it's like almost like a total archery challenge, but with rifles in your hand.
Okay.
And they bring you out to different stations. There's 3 or 4 animals that are like literally like 3D archery targets is what they are, and they're hidden like in real life situations.
Oh, wow.
You're shooting straight uphill, straight downhill, you know, across a canyon at 800 yards or whatever the case is. And so you're actually like in a hunting scenario, and you got to build up your shot area where you're going to be shooting from, and then you take your shots and stuff. But you know, out there, the wind is just a whole different animal because you might be feeling a slight breeze on the side of your face, and you think, okay, it's blowing, you know, right to left at 3 miles an hour or something. But that doesn't mean, you know, 100 feet below you in that canyon, it's not blowing 15 miles an hour. Right. And so you got to like all the way out, you have to like read the landmarks a little bit. So, because the wind might be blowing trees this direction on the first knoll in between you and that target, and the second knoll, it's blowing the exact opposite direction. So winds can cancel each other. You have uplift, downlift. Like, I don't know. It gets crazy out there, but where you do have a lot of wind. But we got lucky on the first, like just the introductory level, shooting out to 1,000 yards. There wasn't a lot of wind, so you could wrap your head around what was going on because there is wind drift going on, but it's not like super, super significant. So you're not missing because the wind gusted or something like that. So, but yeah, it's a whole different world, and I
can't even imagine.
Feel like I've got a good grasp on it, but I'd be the first guy to tell you I still feel like I've got zero idea what I'm doing.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
Hey, if you can hit the target,
no doubt.
Yeah. I know. I think I've officially got a comfort zone now. You know, when they ask you when you get there, like, what's your farthest shot you've ever taken, and how comfortable or how far out do you think you'd be comfortable shooting at an animal? And my answer when I showed up at the first one was like, and my rule in Montana, even like I strive to get within 200 yards of every animal that I stalked in on, and I did a good job of it. So I never took like what I would consider super long shots, but I also like my Midwest growing up shotgun hunting mindset was like, I got to get close, man. Like I want to make sure I know what's going on here. And, but leaving the second one, I'd say, confidently, I feel like 600 to 700 yards in that ballpark.
Oh, wow.
I feel confident at just understanding it a little bit more, having done it, you know, over and over and over at a course and stuff like that. And but again, that's going to depend on variables. You know, if your wind's blowing 30 miles an hour, I'm going to get into 150 yards if I can, right? Because I want that gun to be doing all the work. I don't want to have to really worry about what that bullet's doing as much. So,
But I think my longest shot that I've been successful on and taken was my last mule deer I got in Montana, my biggest mule deer. He's about 150-inch mule deer. He was 415 yards was the shot.
Okay.
Wow.
So I had my app, and it was a super calm situation. He was 415 yards standing out there. He was all hot on a doe. The doe knew I was there. He didn't. So he was kind of more hanging out, seeing what she was up to. So super calm situation, not a lot of wind. And I had time to get my phone out, get my ballistics calculator out, everything, dial
nice.
for it. It was like the perfect scenario. So
Yeah.
yeah, they worked out well.
Well, that's cool.
So
Yeah.
where are you moving in Texas?
We are going to Killeen. It was Fort Hood. They've rebranded it to it's Cavazos or Cavanos. I got to look it up again. Fort Cavazos, I think, is what it's called. But
Okay.
it's Fort Hood is where we're going.
Yep. Gotcha.
Yep. So we'll be there for a year. My wife's in her doctorate program. So that's
Okay.
She's doing the school part here at Walter Reed Medical Center.
Oh, cool.
And she'll be going there for her residency program.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Well, there should be some good hunting down there, I would imagine.
I'm thinking so. I'm excited about it. You know what? I went to basic training down in Texas, and I hand on a Bible, swore I'd never go back to that place.
Oh, gosh.
So hot. You just constant heat.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. My tech school for the Air Force was in northern Texas, and it still sucked. And it wasn't any cooler in northern Texas. And but yeah, now I'm actually excited. Now I've had a few more years to get under my belt. But it being in the industry too, it's like all these hunting opportunities in Texas. You can't help but be excited about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
right. For sure. Yeah. I'd be the same boat. I couldn't handle the heat either.
Yeah, it was hot enough when we were in Kansas in April.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was hot.
Yeah, it was hot for, I mean, even
April.
for them in April, it was warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for me. I complain when it's 70 degree during bow season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
70 degrees in the summer is nice. 70 degrees during bow season is miserable.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think the older I get, it's like, yep, I might just start bow hunting more in November. It's way too hot. It's way too buggy.
Yeah, it
It's
used to be cool.
It
September, but anymore it's 80 degrees up here.
Yeah,
even,
and I
practically.
don't know. I guess I'm just becoming a wuss because it's like, yeah, I think I'll just wait. I don't feel like sweating and swatting off bugs, in the deer stand.
man.
So
Yeah, I bought my first thermocell after sitting in my tree stand the first time out here.
Yep.
It's I think it was 93 degrees opening day last year. And I went out just to do it because I had a climbing tree stand at the time, or still I had my climber, I guess, and I hadn't touched it the whole time we were in Montana because you're spotting and stalking everything out there.
Right.
And I took the climber out just to make sure I still knew what I was doing and all the equipment still worked. And I sat there and sat through it, sweated my butt off, and swatted more mosquitoes than I've ever seen in my life. But it's thermocell. I got 2 thermocells now, so those will be going with me this year. But I think, like I said, I think the ticket out here, if I'm going to beat the competition, is putting in the time when those days do kind of suck.
yeah,
And, I guess dealing with the heat to hopefully get a crack at an early season buck out there, I think will be the ticket.
yeah. I've been thinking that this year too, is trying to take a few more days, during the week or afternoons to beat the crowds. Even during bow season. I mean, like you said, guys that are working during the week, they got to go out on the weekend. So it's I want to try to beat the crowds, and even rifle season too. I'm thinking about changing a few things up. So,
Well, the bad thing about when it's so hot like that is, I mean, you got to jump on that deer. You got to take care of it right away. You got to get it in a freezer or something. I mean, especially down south, they must have all kinds of solutions for that. But up here, it's a little further in between.
ATV or something, I get to it right away. And that's, antelope surprised me a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's about one of my favorite things. That and antelope and mule deer. I fell in love with hunting those out there in Montana. And the antelope thing, I went to Wyoming for my first antelope hunt. Just put in with a group of guys that were going down there from Indiana, actually, and we all got drawn as a party. And down it's like 50-50. Either people say, "Oh, it's the worst thing you'll ever eat," or people say it's the best thing you'll ever eat. There's no in between with antelope. And the last day I ended up getting a doe. I had a doe tag, so I ended up filling it. And we were up there, and it was like 50 degrees. 50-ish degrees out there, and we walked up to my doe, but the herd had taken off and ran around like the next knoll or whatever, and the other 2 guys still had tags, so they were going to go after it. And they're like, "Well, let's just leave yours here and let's go." And I'm like, man, like I don't, even at 50 degrees, it seemed cool enough, but I was like, I don't think so. Like, I've heard you got to get on it right away. Antelope's body heat is way up there, so they're just naturally warmer anyway. So I argued with him a little bit, but I was like, I'm just gonna stay here and clean it. I'll go get the truck, and I'll meet you guys down on the next road or whatever. And I'm glad I did, because by the time I got to where I flipped the antelope over, it just the bullet had gone through it. It was a quartering away shot, so I got like probably some gut, but liver, and then the far side lung and heart, and the liver side was down where the entry hole was, and even that already had stuff bubbling in there and stuff. And I'm like, oh dude, I'm glad I stayed here.
Yeah.
But skinned it out, boned it out. I had I packed it out on my back, just the meat, took it out, and I got it on ice at the truck within an hour. And to this day, antelope is the only wild game meat that my wife will ask for. If it's in the fridge, she's like, hey, can I have antelope tonight? Deer,
awesome.
elk, anything else, she's kind of like, yeah, I'll eat it. We eat a ton of wild game meat, all of our hamburgers, wild game, all that stuff. But antelope's the one thing she'll ask for. And we got 4 of them while we were out there. She got an antelope too, with her 6.5 Creedmoor. Actually, we got her a Weatherby Camilla. That she got we doubled on that one. That one was a pretty cool hunt. But she, antelope's the one thing that she'll ask for.
I've never had it.
It's delicious, but I think you have to clean it right away.
Yeah.
Done.
Yep. I enjoy antelope. I really like it. It's the gutting part of the antelope that nobody likes that, but it does taste good. I really enjoy it.
And that's another thing. Coming from a Midwest guy, the first hunt we did out there was her first big game hunt that she got one on. She got a mule or a whitetail doe. And I've been watching videos, knowing we're going to move to Montana, with the gutless method and all that stuff, right? Packing things out. And so I asked her when we got up there, I'm like, I don't want to rob you of this tradition of gutting your first animal, but would you mind if I practice this other method? She's like, I don't care, but it was 75 degrees outside. So I'm like, I don't want to drag it and mess with it, so, but yeah, we end up doing it that way, and having, 80 pounds of meat or whatever it is on your back is a whole different game than grabbing something by the hoof or by the antler and dragging it up, 3/4 of a mile back to the car. I was like, dude, I'll never drag a deer again if I can help it. I love packing stuff out now. But I think it helps out with meat quality too, because everything's done right there in the field. You get home, you just have a cooler full of meat, and then you can kind of process it from there. You don't have to, mess with the elements as much.
Yep.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I know that's something I got to get better at, is processing own animal, stuff like that. I mean, I take it to our local butcher, local meat shop and whatnot, have them do it, just because most of the time I didn't have time. It's not that I didn't have time, I didn't make time. Let's put it that way. But it is something I'd like to get into more, and doing it that way. But because then exactly what you have, you know everything like that. So, although our local guy, they do an excellent job.
They do.
But it's just a matter of, getting more into it. Now I have a dehydrator, so I'm going to start doing some jerky, some stuff like that. I do have a smoker, so it's just trying to get all the tools and stuff in place to be able to do it, and do it easy.
And a deer.
And a deer. A deer would be, that would help, I mean, it's tough to pack out a deer when you don't have one.
Yeah. It's sad when you get to the end of the season and you're drinking a beer, just staring at your grinder like, sorry, buddy, I wish I could have got you out.
Yep.
But,
Right. Yep. It's tough to just keep unloading and putting the gun in the case every day. Yep.
No powder to smell. Or
exactly. It's like, gee, I sure would love blood on my hands. That's not mine,
Exactly right.
It's
tough.
Yeah, but no, that's cool. That's awesome. Anything you want to add for Tactacam? I mean, obviously, that feather snap, that's pretty cool. That's coming up.
Definitely gonna check that out.
Anything else you want to add to that end of it?
I mean, I'd just say keep your eyes out. Tactacam is always developing stuff. We're always looking to make things easier and simpler to use, especially in this space. It's we want to get into a competitive space like this without a good reason for it. But just, again, making the hunter's life easier, making something that's reliable, and we're always looking to improve on that. So, again, just keep your eyes and ears peeled, and, we're always looking forward to the next thing.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And, Tactacam makes it really easy for hunters in the field with the trail cams and the point of view cameras as well. So,
as hunters, we all use trail cams these days. So, everybody should check out Reveal. Yep.
For sure. It's in my mind, it's the best thing out there. You know, and that's the main one we sell. We do have a few other ones in stock off and on, but Tactacam is our main selling point all the time. So, yep, that's what we carry, and that's what we push for. So,
yeah, man, no, we love it, and we, you know, especially with you guys being a conservation organization. Again, that's just something at the core of who we are, what we're really passionate about, and I mean, heck, they've got I was a park ranger. It was my civilian job before I worked for Tactacam, so they've got an ex-park ranger in charge of their conservation partnership program. Pretty serious about it. So you know, we love pushing that stuff, man, and just getting involved in the community is a huge thing with us too. So, you know, helping you guys out at the fundraising thing is awesome, and helping out a local organization like you guys, and we appreciate you guys supporting us as a local business to you guys too. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and as a conservation organization wanted to work with Tactacam, who would they contact?
They can actually reach out to me. So we've got, I don't think with the old website, we had like a bunch of different application pages. So if you had an organization or a chapter, you could reach out. I don't think the new website has it, but we do have a conservation and giving back page. Okay. So we're constantly sharing, you know, if you guys have latest news you want to share or any kind of cool, you know, Tactacam shout outs or non-Tactacam shout outs, whatever you guys are doing, we've got a place to share the wins. It's got an active counter to showcase how much Tactacam's helped raise throughout the year as well. So that's kind of fun to watch go up. But yeah, they can reach out to me actually. So just my Stonehocker at Tactacam.com. It's my email address, or reach out to customer service. They'll connect you over to me. Okay. It's probably the easiest way because I've got a killer last name that's tough to spell. So
it's a pretty cool last name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's awesome. Well, I think that'll.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything you want to add to it.
No, I think we're good. I think we covered everything, and we appreciate your time, Aaron.
Yeah. Thanks
joining us, even with technical difficulties.
Joining us and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Well, thanks for having me on. This was fun, and you guys need another guest. Count us in.
Oh, for sure.
In the future as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly. We're always looking, you know, at guests or even ongoing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if anything new comes up, even by the fall, I think it'd be great to even, you know, maybe do another one closer to hunting season.
Right.
You know, and if there's any new products or just to help people, you know, tell them, you know, more scouting techniques or tips.
Yeah.
You know, is another good way to do it and get people more involved. So
Absolutely.
I think we could definitely, you know, look at doing something like that. So
yeah, talk some more long shooting too.
Yes.
You gotta get Jared in here so we can.
Yeah, we gotta get Jared in here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Don't knock it till you try it.
I know. I just like making fun of him.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to. Yeah. There's always that counter.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll appreciate it, Aaron.
Yeah, we appreciate it, buddy.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
Reveal. Capture the moment. Tactacam. Always on the hunt.
Visit Tactacam.com. The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and Wolf Dot Report proudly sponsor this podcast. However, please note that the opinions, topics, and guests featured may not necessarily align with the views, beliefs, goals, or mission of our sponsors.